Lopez to throw, looking over the middle, slings it, has his target, breaking the contact, losing the football at the goal line. Bears diving on top of it in the end zone.
Wow, what a fantastic play late in the fourth quarter by Brent Paco Austin to preserve our lead and nail down our victory over North Carolina. That reminded me so much of Marcus Izet, who forced a fumble and touchback to beat Oregon when Cal played at Autzen back in 2007. Welcome to Tell the Whole Damn World in our weekly football recap episode. It's Monday, October 20th, 2025. Our sturdy Golden Bears beat North Carolina 21-18 to improve to 5-2 on the season, and it's another great day to be a Bear. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Reza Sirafinejad. We're going to get right into our recap in just a minute, but let me quickly tell you a little about us and what we're all about. We're the podcast that celebrates all things Cal. We produce on-camera interviews with the prominent people associated with UC Berkeley, known to many as the center of the universe. And we share stories about the rich history and traditions of the University of California. We hope to put a smile on your face and help you come away feeling good about your connection to the greatest university on the planet. Please tell all your Cal friends about us. You can share us on social media, and please remember that if you missed any of our previous featured guest or Cal history episodes over the last several months, you can simply go to tellthewholedamnworld.com to view our entire episode library. And if you missed it, please be sure to watch our interview with Golden Bear legend Russell White that we released last Monday. It was a great one. Let me now bring in David Ortega, the Hall of Fame linebacker who made more tackles than any player in Cal history. Ahmad has the weekend off, but I'm sure he'll be back and ready to get after it next week. So, Shark, what were your overall impressions of the game?
Well, my overall impressions were we got to win. We got to win. Wins are wins are wins. That's the number one objective. Let's get a win. Was it pretty? Not necessarily. At times it was, and at times not so much. But we got the win, and you were fighting against a team with their back to the wall. North Carolina has a lot of great athletes there. You could tell that they're just a step off of what they're doing, but they're dangerous because they got nothing to lose, and so they're battling. And so that's what I was worried about. I was worried about last year when we played Florida State, for instance. We should have beat them, but they had their backs to the wall, and somehow they pulled it out. Well, that's what we did. We pulled it out. And our team played pretty well. Our kids were flying around. It was probably our linebacker's best game I've seen this year of just attacking the ball and making plays. So I thought it was wonderful. I thought we got out of there with a win. I thought that North Carolina was dangerous, even though the record doesn't show it. But they were dangerous, and that we took care of business. And it was a big night, Hall of Fame night, and that was awesome. I went to the Hall of Fame dinner and seeing all the great athletes we've had in our athletic department. It's really a treat to see that.
That's right. Yeah, on the field, they celebrated highlighting the classes of 2024 and 2025, and that was just great to see so many great players, like you say, in all the different sports, which was awesome. Attendance on the night. It was another night game, of course, but nationally televised, ESPN 33,401. So a drop off from what we saw before, but I think, all Cal fans will tell you we're a little tired of the night games now. It's like, all right, let's play a day game. Can we please get a day game in there? It'd be nice, but hey, we're rolling with it, and the student section was certainly packed. And you really hit the nail on the head when you talked about this team just coming up with a win somehow, some way. Resiliency is really the word that comes to the top of my mind when I think of this team. And when you kind of compare it to last year's team just had such unfortunate luck with those 4 games that we dropped, right? Which were just coin flips, where we certainly could have and probably should have won most of those games that we lost in that losing stretch that we had last year. And this year, we are finding a way to win. And it's just so great to see. It's so nice to be on the other side of that. And even though, it's so funny, like seeing some of the reaction from some Cal fans where they're kind of like disgruntled and everything, it's like, hey, it's a win. And, one of the guys in the media room when I was watching the press conference after the game reminded me of Bruce Snyder back in the day. And he said, never apologize for a win. It's like,
Absolutely.
right? It's like we are 5-2.
It's great. And you know what? And I want to applaud the kids and the coaches because, they got a lot of injuries. We got a lot of injuries, and new guys playing the edges and into the D line. And you have guys like Drew Pellador coming on, and they're really making some nice plays. He stuck a receiver in a little a bubble screen. He just knocked it out, and he loves the contact, and he's doing a great job. So Cam Sidney again doing a wonderful job getting the ball out on the first play, and then recovering it himself, and then also Austin at the end punching that ball out. That was awesome. So that was a great opportunity for them to make plays, and they made the plays. It's not like they were in position and didn't make plays. They went to make the plays and they did it. And they practice getting the ball out. They practice punching the ball out, and that's what practice does. It makes it happen in the game. So I was very happy with that. Great to see our players actually doing what they practiced and enjoying the fruits of their labor.
Absolutely. Well, and you saw that, when you saw Paco go for that tackle, in short order, just bang, bang, he realized that given his angle and where the guy was coming from, that there was no way that he was going to be able to make a tackle and stop him from getting into the end zone. His momentum alone was going to carry him in there. So you could see that he intentionally went for the ball. And man, he punched that thing out and then recovered it himself. I mean, just a tremendous play. I mean, Justin Wilcox said is probably the biggest play of the season. I mean, you just could see just how smart you had to be to quickly realize that that was really the only play to make to prevent a touchdown from being scored. And I'm just so impressed. He was, we had a chance to hear him in the press conference after the game. And I got to give a shout out to his father as well, who I met after the game. And just all beaming and just completely happy, as you could imagine. But yeah, it was a total team effort, especially too from when you talk about the defense. We usually talk offense first, but I'm going to talk about the defense. You talked about Cam Sidney, had a great game, 6 tackles, including a tackle for loss. And just the very first run that North Carolina had, boom, he forces the fumble and recovers the fumble, and then sets up our easy touchdown to go up 7-0 early. So that was big right off the bat. And then Polidor, like you mentioned, I mean, man, 5 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, a pass breakup, a forced fumble and fumble recovery of his own. I mean, it's just everyone was bringing it. Cade Uluave, 10 tackles, a career best 3 pass breakups. And man, he had one huge hit early in the game on a swing pass that just had everybody going, ooh.
And he followed that up with a great hit on the quarterback who got out of the pocket. And 2 times he hit the quarterback. And that leaves a lasting memory in that quarterback's eyes. As soon as he gets out of the pocket, he's not looking downfield for a wide open receiver. He's going to find number 0 first, know how much time he has, and then try to get the ball off. But if he sees number 0 coming at any point, he's gonna have some hard decisions to make.
That's right. You're hearing footsteps, right? It's like it's coming for you, like a shark in the water. I wonder how you got that nickname there, Shark. And then, yeah, Luke Farrelly, again, had another wonderful game with 9 tackles. Zeke Masses had another 2 pass breakups. He entered the game number 1 in the nation in pass breakups and now has 13 pass breakups on the season. And Chris Victor came up with his first sack, and that was nice to see. Unfortunately, gave it right back with an unsportsmanlike because he made a throat slash gesture. So
it wasn't a throat slash gestures is, and I'm telling you right now, this is our podcast. We can say that what it is. The kids nowadays are doing this, like wipe their nose and like fling it like this, like I'm done with you. And that's what the ref took as a throat slashing, which it wasn't, but it's semantics. And if you're going to look at it that way, if it resembles it, they're probably going to make that call. I was like, "What? He didn't do anything." And when I
Right.
watched it on the television, I could see how they could make that distinction of it's the same thing.
No, it's true. Hey, but it was great to see that he at least got a sack. We gave up 2 sacks on the day, which wasn't too bad considering, Jaron Giave, Songa Polotele was under constant pressure. And I want to mention real quickly our special teams with Michael Luckhurst, the son of former Golden Bear great Mick Luckhurst, who handled kickoffs, just rejoined the team. And man, thank goodness he was back because he really was able to kick the heck out of the ball, and we got much better placement of the ball there on kickoffs, just kicking it really deep. So they had a lot more trouble trying to return it. So that
So I
was
can
really
tell
nice.
you, I love Michael Luckhurst, and I love his dad, former Bear, and love those guys. And I was really sad to see that he had left the team, and so when they said that last night that it was Michael Luckhurst kickoffs, and I was like, what? Wait a minute, I didn't know he had come back. And then all of a sudden, I was like, yes, good for you, Michael. He got back on that horse, faced down his fears, and just took care of business. It was great,
It was.
fantastic,
It
great
really
job, Mike.
was. But I got to say, like, just as a fan in the stands watching the game, when we go up 21-10, you kind of breathe a little sigh of relief. It's like, okay, we got, we're 2 scores ahead of them. We have the ball. We can add on to that lead. We can really put these guys away. But man, like you said, North Carolina really gave it their all and fought hard. I mean, no question about it, right? He just came after us and they kept us from scoring any more points. And everybody was just breathing a collective sigh of relief when Paco punched out that ball and recovered it for the touchback. But because prior to that, Sagapolotele got knocked out of the game, for a play, concussion protocol. We didn't know if he was going to be back. And everybody's like, oh, wait a minute. We were up 11 and now it's only 21-18. Are we going to be able to win this game after all? But fortunately, he came back. Sanga Polotele finished 21 of 39 for 209 yards, his 7th straight game with 200 plus yards passing to start his career. And hats off to Jacob De Jesus. I mean, man, 13 receptions for 105 yards and a touchdown, including an impressive 60 yards after the catch, or yak, as they like to say. So that was really nice to see. Career high in receptions. That also ranks 6th highest for receptions in a game in Cal history.
So let's give it up for the little guys. I mean, because sometimes those little guys are so much more dangerous and hard to catch. Reminds me of Vinny Strang, guys like that who could really run and just create separation on people. So it's exciting to see Jacob do what he does at this level and start to take on bigger guys and make them pay, make him pay for not staying with him. And I just love it. He had an end around a run as well, which was a catch, I guess. And he took on the linebacker head up. And I was like, good for you, kiddo. He's not, he wasn't shying away from contact. I love that. He catches every ball on the punt returns. So on punt returns, here's the thing, Reza. If you don't catch the ball, it typically and on average is 16 yards that it goes forward that you lose as a punt return team. So you want to catch, if anything, you want to catch the ball, fair catch it. You're at least gaining 16 yards from letting it go. Now, there are some special punters out there that can backspin it and all that. But on a typical throughout the season, when you don't catch it, there's a big bounce ratio. That's usually I know from my old days it was about 16 yards was the difference. So him catching every ball is saving yards and saving field position.
Absolutely. And it's just a matter of time before he's going to break one. I mean, everybody's feeling it. Like every time he has a little bit of space, it's like, there it goes. So everybody's just can't wait for that to happen.
And how about Jordan King and his
Yes.
connection with Sangapolo Tele right now? I mean, he is crossing that middle and Jaron is putting it right on him. Right on. And before he's even breaking cross behind the linebackers, he's putting the ball there. And as he gets into the what we call dig route, and you're coming behind the linebackers, it's right there. And he's catching it with his hands, getting on the ground and for first downs. I mean, fantastic. Did it 3 times on Saturday.
That's right. Yeah, he's got great hands. I had a chance to interview him earlier for just our little segment that we do, spotlighting some of the players on the team. And like his hand just wrapped around my hand practically. It's like, wow, he's got some big mitts. And yeah, had 54 yards receiving. But very nice to see, for a walk on to now make the impact that he's making on the field is just tremendous to see. So that's really great.
Well, speaking of walk-ons, Reza, I just want to give a shout out to all the walk-ons that have ever walked on at Cal for Cal football. We have had exceptional walk-ons, exceptional NFL walk-ons. We've had unbelievable players who have all come here for the education, didn't have a scholarship, but very quickly earned one. Guys like Scott Fujita, Doug Bryan, Chidi Ahanatu, Vinny Strang, Chase Lyman came as a walk-on initially.
Patrick
And then
Laird too.
Patrick Laird, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And, Brian De La Puente, and some of our linemen too, like Jonathan Murphy, Chris Murphy, Ryan Jones, Aaron Mertz, all walk-on players that ended up playing for us and doing a hell of a job. So it's phenomenal.
Right. And Tron Grizel, right? I think
yeah.
I mean, yeah, like you say, the list just goes on and on.
Hani Uwezuke was a walk-on for it.
Well, there you go. Hani Uwezuke. My buddy Brett Rosen's gonna love hearing that name and the high school buddies of his.
Well, I mean, in the day, Marty Hawley was a walk-on. So was Brandon Hampton was a walk-on. I mean, we've had great walk-ons, absolutely phenomenal walk-ons, just because they wanted an education and they wanted to get going with their academic career, but didn't want to give up that football dream. And all they did was come out and play their tails off.
That's right.
Just
That's right.
awesome.
And I mean, and the guy was no longer a Golden Bear. He moved on to Texas, but Jack Endries, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that guy. I mean, unfortunately, he should have stayed at Cal. But probably would have had a better chance at the NFL, but that's beside the point.
Well, hey, here's the thing. Rod Marinelli told me this a long, long time ago. I said, hey, coach, we might have almost got this kid. He was they didn't have stars back in my, but he's a all-state player. He says, hey, David, I only coach players who are here at Cal, and that's all I'll do. So I try not to talk about players that leave or that aren't our players because it's not right for either way, for me, this way or that way, whatever. I talk about our players, make sure they know that we care about them and that we're thinking about them and that we want to help them. But I love this, and I love our players. I will call you out every once in a while just to let you know we're watching.
There you go. Well, hey, I got to talk a little bit about the run game. And Kendrick Raphael, I mean, man, he had 81 yards on 22 carries and a touchdown, the first touchdown of the game to break open the scoring. And I mean, man, that guy is just putting in the work and getting those tough yards. But man, I got to say, as a team, we just haven't been able to really get the ground game going like I think we all would hope. We got 80 yards rushing total in the game compared to UNC getting 120 yards. And it was kind of funny because I went to the game, I invited a friend who admittedly doesn't watch nearly as much football as I've seen. And he asked the question at one point in the game. He kind of turns to me like in the third quarter and says, hey, Rez, why do we just run in the middle? All that? Shouldn't we run around the edges? It seems to be more room over there. And it was funny because, I've seen football my whole life. And I kind of understand the idea of trying to keep the defense honest and all of this. But, when I got to thinking about the physics side of me, kind of thinks about, well, he kind of has a point just because you've got your offensive line in front of you that you have to avoid first and foremost. And those are large individuals averaging over 300 pounds apiece. And then you got the other team. And so just from a purely physics standpoint, there's just not a lot of room there to potentially move. And so I figured since I've got a coach on the podcast and a Hall of Fame player, I may as well just ask you, Shark, for all the lay people out there, can you help explain a little bit about why we run up the middle as often as
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's talk physics and let's talk geometry. The quickest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Remember that. Okay. So when you watch that game, there were some times when all it takes is a couple quick blocks inside And what we want to do is we want to get past the line of scrimmage, but the line of scrimmage is one section. The next level is the linebackers. It's called the backfield of the defense, and that's another section. And then you have the open field, which goes further downfield, which is another section. You want to get past the first section as fast as possible. So a lot of times what you'll see is Johnson go in motion or mini, and then the lineman will block one way, and mini will come and counter and block the opposite side to create a crease right in the middle. The running back goes right through that middle, and then it's 4 strides, 3 to 4 strides, and then he's in the next level. So all the guys on the line of scrimmage, there might be 6 guys there. They don't matter anymore because you're already behind them. They can't do anything to you. So once you get to that next level, if you can get past the linebackers, then it's a straight line to the touchdown. And we had that last week. We had a nice run with up the middle that ran for a touchdown. But that's what you're looking for. You're trying to get there as quick as possible. When you go outside, sometimes there's somebody there their whole job is to keep the ball inside of them so that the ball doesn't get outside of them. But if you do happen to get outside, you got a lot of distance you're covering, and you have people with angles coming down at you. So that sometimes isn't as fruitful. It looks like it'll be easier, but it's not as fruitful because you have pursuit coming inside out to the ball, and that corner, if he gets off his block, is outside into the ball, so it will trap the ball right around the numbers. So that's the concept. The concept is you want to get down. It's called downhill running. So if you're running towards the sideline, that's sideways running. So when we say downhill running, that's going towards the line of scrimmage, past the line of scrimmage into the goal line. That's the concept that you're trying to work with. And that is why people run the ball in the middle. They're trying to get past that first level as quickly as possible. In the old days, when they ran the option, they'd run a fullback right there. Sometimes they'd hand that ball off to the fullback, and he'd run for 40 yards before anybody touched him because it's so quick. And everyone was worried about the quarterback and the option player, and they forgot about the fullback who's running up the field for a touchdown. So that's the concept with running in the middle. You want to get there as soon as possible. And the other thing is, if you can run the ball in the middle on a defense, they lose momentum. They get very discouraged when you're running the ball right up the gut.
Very demoralized.
It's demoralizing. And the offensive line knows it, and you know it, and everybody in the stands can see it happening. That 4, 5, 6 yards a chunk, and then you get a first down, and it just keeps going until they score, and that's demoralizing for the defense. It's more demoralizing than just getting an 80-yard touchdown on a reception. You can, in your mind as a defense, you can say, well, that was a one-off. Let's get back to business and take care of business. But if they grind it down your throat and then score, the defense gets, how are we going to stop this? They're looking for answers. And that's when, this is from last week's conversation, is when we talked about continuity with teammates, and that sometimes we have too many players from all over the place that haven't played before, haven't hung out on campus or at Top Dog. And so they don't have that continuity of digging deep and putting their foot in the ground and stopping that. And so, but nowadays, it's just what it is. And so you got to keep working with it. And hopefully that you can encourage your teammates and inspire them to get in the gaps and just stop the ball, because you want to stop that run.
Well, I'm so glad I asked. I mean, man, that was like you could give a master class on that there, Shark. That was pretty good. And yeah, I got to say, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, football is a game of large people pushing each other around, right? So like you say, you get very demoralized if you're not able to push back and keep that team from just leaning on you and getting the yards that they need to keep possession of the ball and keep a drive sustained, right? So,
right.
Yeah, so, that's the only thing. It would be great to see if we could just get that running game clicking and going. And I think there's a lot of truth to what you just mentioned, to the continuity and the chemistry really between the players that's really developed over years of maybe playing together would probably help a lot. But hey, I'm certainly not looking down my nose at all. 5-2 looks great for this team. And in that game in particular, it was a dangerous game. ESPN, nationally televised. Like I say, North Carolina has nothing to lose. They're going to come with it. If you look at the total offense totals for the game, we had 294 yards and they had 287 yards. So just to show you how close of a game that was, and just so happy to come away with the victory. We're now 3-0, undefeated all time against North Carolina, the team that didn't want us to be a part of the ACC.
Hey Reza, I want to give a shout out to Hall of Famers, newly inducted Hall of Famers, Tarek Glenn, Alex Mack, and Jeff Tedford. It was so awesome to watch them represent the Golden Bear football program and all the things they did and how well they represented us and how articulate they are and how they just they personify what greatness of Cal football is. And all of them, they did a wonderful job. And all the athletes that were inducted this week were fantastic representatives of the University of California, and for the right reasons. But our football players were phenomenal. There's some other all the football players who have represented us have been great character people and great athletes. Very proud and great to see.
Absolutely. Here. Second that, Shark, no question. And it was great to see, too. I think all the fans got a kick out of seeing Marshawn Lynch talking about another Golden Bear legend come riding out on the bike to start the game out of the tunnel, riding around the stadium. That was great to see.
Super cool.
Love it. Well, we next play at Virginia Tech on Friday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. It's another ESPN nationally televised game. And if you're around the Berkeley area, please swing by Headlands Brewing on Lower Sproul. I'm planning to be there to watch the game. Would love to meet you in person.
Well, I think I'll be with the team this week over to watch the game, and I'm excited to get to Blacksburg and run in with with Metallica. And get to experience that. It'd be great. It could be in a Bay Area band, so it's awesome.
That's right. What a great game day atmosphere. So it certainly sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's awesome you get to experience that. That'll be cool. Well, hey, that's going to do it for this week's football recap episode. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to spending time with you again next week when we take on Virginia Tech on the road on Friday night. Thank you so much for tuning in. We sincerely appreciate all of you out there listening and watching. And remember, if you live in Richmond, please consider giving your vote to my co-host, Ahmad Anderson, to be the next mayor of Richmond. There's no question he would do amazing things for the city of pride and purpose. This podcast is entirely a labor of love and a reflection of how much we love our university. Please help grow this podcast by telling the whole damn world about us. Just tell all your Cal friends to go to tellthewholedamnworld.com. We celebrate all things Cal and the prominent people who are passionate about the University of California. Do you feel Cal is the center of the universe? Do you bleed blue and gold? We want you to tell the whole damn world about it. Go Bears!
Go Bears.
Thanks so much, Shark.
All right, buddy.